Today is Tuesday, the 7th at 3 o'clock sharp. I call this meeting to order. Are there any additions to the agenda? Saying none. Okay, can I get a confirmation of the agenda? Brent, all in favor? Good. Is there any pecuniary interest or the general nature thereof? Seeing none. Everybody had a chance to read the minutes for the May 17th meeting. Can I get an approval for them, please? Murph, all in favor? And delegations, we do have.
Oh, no, don't, hang on, I'll read this.
Yeah, okay, I'll let Jen take this, Mayor Murphy, take this from here.
Thank you, Chair.
You're welcome.
Community champions play a vital role in the vitality of our community. Heather Park Wheeler is a true community champion. Since moving to Bonnechere Valley in 2010, Heather has been a volunteer with the Eganville Food Bank and St. John's Anglican Church. She served in capacity of president of the Eganville Horticultural Society from 2018 to 2021 and is now the current past president for the society. She also helped with our Truth and Reconciliation Garden, so thank you for that. She was also instrumental in taking the lead for the establishment and fundraising initiatives for the Eganville Dog Park. Heather is always in the forefront, lending a helping hand to families in need. So now Heather, Bonnechere Valley is pleased to announce that Heather Park Wheeler is the 2022 Ontario Senior of the Year.
Wow. Wow. What an honor. Yeah, it really is an honor.
So was this a surprise?
Yes.
Okay, good. Good.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
I'm glad that your friends and your colleagues can be here.
Oh, this is wonderful. All the support. My buddies at the Support Society.
Yay.
Oh, thank you.
I like plants so much I won't have them at my house. My husband's when plants go to die. True story, I have killed a cactus.
That's a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
But it's okay if you don't.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Unless you want to stay. This is riveting stuff.
Definitely don't let us go again.
Yeah, I'm sure it's very riveting, but I'm glad you guys are riveted with it. Thank you very much.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Thank you.
There, with that being said.
There goes Tim, the chair's audience.
Yes.
Wow, hey, I'll try to do more for entertainment next time. I keep the crowd in. So, Daryl is not.
Daryl had an appointment.
Okay.
So he will be here, but he might not be here till 4. So
Okay.
if you want, we can flip myself and Daryl.
Sure.
That's all right.
Absolutely, Annette. I encourage it.
So I don't have a specific report, but there's quite a few things underneath finished and unfinished business that I wanted to make sure that I was able to touch upon.
Feel free to address them.
Thank you. So I will start with, so there's the tax adjustment report, which actually is Sandra, but I'll just quickly touch on that if there's any questions towards that. It's an application for 357 for reduction of taxes, which is normally due to demolition or something of that nature, or change of use. So if there's no questions, then there'll be a resolution coming forward this evening.
Okay.
Then there is the memorandum of understanding. So we did have that discussion with council to go back. Direction was given to staff to go back and negotiate. And so that is bringing all of our equipment operators so that instead of having 3 different rates, so they have their 1-year rate, their 2-year rate, their probationary rate. Now they are still on probation for 3 months at the 1-year rate, but after their 3 months probation, they're all on their job rate. So that's effectively what the memorandum of understanding does. And again, the resolution will come forward to council this evening. The Trust Ukraine Community Fund. So this one is a bit more for discussion and how council feels about this. So we've had a request, and there's some information in there that shows you the request that we received from a local group that wants to do something for Ukraine. So they have opened, they've created a committee and they've opened a bank account that is Trust Ukraine Community Fund is what it has to be called when money is held in trust for a specific purpose. They have a list of specific groups that they would like to help, and they've investigated these groups to see who has the least amount of administration, making sure the funds actually get to Ukraine. And they also are looking at putting some money into local individuals. There's a couple in Wilno that has taken in a family from Ukraine, and I think is taking in a second one. Actually, my own brother-in-law and sister-in-law in Cars, just outside of Ottawa, have also taken in 2 different families that only one of them speaks English. So one has a couple of kids and one is just a grandma from another family, and they're staying with them as well. So this is something that is occurring across the region. And so that's basically what they're looking for the money to go towards. And so what the support that they were looking for from council, which part of it came to council the last time, was waiving of the fees for the arena for an event, which council agreed to do. And now what they are asking is for any funds that are donated to the township. So it'll be donated to the township so that people can have a tax receipt from the township. And then, of course, it is up to council how to allocate those funds. So what they're asking is, so if I came in with a donation to the township of Boncher Valley for, let's say, $100, that I would get a tax receipt. I'm giving it to the township, but asking council, if I put, I'm asking council if I could allocate these funds towards this trust community fund. So that's what they're asking, is if people donate and ask that the funds be specifically allocated there, and the council does approve that, does allocate those funds there, and that they would also get a tax receipt for those funds being donated. So that's really the ask for committee's consideration, which would have to be passed at council tonight unless the committee had questions or.
I think the feeling amongst the committee was that people will donate more if they get a tax receipt.
So that was one of the questions that I was actually gonna ask a week or so ago about what was going on. And actually the answers are right there. And seeing from my own perspective, certain charities sometimes don't become charities with top-heavy administration, and it becomes more of a little enterprise, so to speak. So no, that's all good information, what I've heard from you and seen the questions answered. So as far as getting a tax receipt, I would recommend that, because that will encourage people to donate. And if it can be spent as local as possible with community or like households that are housing people in need, that would, I'd love to see that happen.
Yeah, so would I.
So
I think we did it before for another organization, didn't we?
as long as it's specified when they come in, that's what the people want to do, to that end of it, I'm all right, as long as it's going on that.
Yeah, we have to make sure that the people that are donating have that request. It's
Yes,
not
That's
just-
right.
it's
So
not
we
just
will be getting a
arbitrary.
request with each donation. It won't
Yeah.
just be, yes.
Not just a donation to the municipality and then
Then
allocated to
yeah.
Ukraine,
Yeah.
it'll be specified by the individual with their
Correct.
donation. Perfect.
So if there's no other concerns or questions on that, then the resolution will come forward tonight. And
Good.
Makes sense.
And I think to your point, there were a lot of questions surrounding this event.
Yeah.
But it's evolved a lot since our last meeting, because our last meeting was 3 weeks ago,
Yes.
right? So there's been a lot of movement since then.
Oh, for sure, for sure. No, like I said, I've seen a lot of the questions were answered, so that's to me, for sure. Thanks, Annette.
So the next part that I want to touch on under new business is the tower report. So as you know, we were looking at this tower because our tower is, folding over and leaning in one direction. And so it is causing issues with our water plant, with our library. Not too bad with our library because they're uphill, not downhill. So they seem to be doing okay. More our arena and water plant as far as internet connections, it's causing problems with. And so we did have our on tower is the consultant that we had come in and have a look at it and see, and it needs to come down, or it needs to be fixed. But even if it was fixed, it's a very temporary solution. That was one thing that they said, if they did Council did agree to fix it, that they understood that this is not a permanent, this tower cannot be fixed permanently, but it, you know, it could, if we needed to get through a year or two, it probably could do that. And with internet coming to the village, you know, the fiber is coming in the next 2 years, then we won't actually need to have that signal going to the water plant or to the arena. So,
One quick question on that. The consultants, would they come in? Because you're saying that it's erratic, your internet fades in and out, right? Because the tower is moving, leaning. Did they look at the possibility in the interim? I know your transmission wouldn't be as high, but if you went to a wider bandwidth of antenna, that will help to accommodate your moving of your tower. You have wider bandwidth, doesn't give you as much gain, but it'll give you more stability.
so it's not a moving in and out. It's very little signal getting through, is what it
Getting
is.
through.
Yeah, like so we get about 100 megabytes per second here. The arena and the water plant are operating between 3 and 5. That's
Yeah.
all that's getting there, and they used to be at 100.
Yeah, but that's because the tower itself has
Has
changed.
tilted, yeah.
So I'm just wondering if in the interim, has anybody given any thought to changing the antenna, making it more a wider band antenna?
It still wouldn't have line of sight, is my understanding. It needs to be, it needs to be brought back up to where it was, and it needs to be stabilized, because it won't stay there. So,
Okay, it's just if they're having, I'm just wondering if anybody's looked at just upgrading the antenna in the interim. I'm not saying it's a
Yeah.
permanent solution.
Yeah.
But if you went to a more broadband antenna, like a wider bandwidth, you'd have a wider scope. So-
right, but we still need to straighten the tower, we still
Yeah,
need to
oh yeah,
reinforce
oh, I
it.
understand that.
And once we do that, it's fine. Once we do that, like when we had Pembroke Cable come in and straighten it, it was perfect for 2 weeks.
Yeah,
It's educational.
And then it
It's-
slowly went back the way it was.
yeah, but that. like I
Tim's
said,
just nodding along as Jack talks. He's like,
But I'm
sure, I
just-
understand it.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, you know, it might be a cheaper interim solution than fixing the tower.
But we still have to fix.
You know, oh, I
Yeah.
know, I'm just saying in the interim so that they have reasonable communication, that's all.
Okay,
Okay, so I have two things. Number one, I feel you nailed it. I feel like towers in the village should be eradicated eventually
Mhm.
due to the new fiber coming through. But the other thing is, we didn't budget for this, right? We didn't even budget a loan payment plan for this. So would it be smarter, and I hate to leave the next council with this, but would it be better just to repair it for now and see how quickly we can get fiber and or budget for a new tower next year, the year after?
But the other problem you have, if you repair it, if you're gonna, and then you're talking in a year or two, take it down, you still have the other users that are on the tower, they're gonna have to be accommodated one way or the other.
Right,
that's correct.
So you can't, it's not just a tower for ourselves and for
No.
communications. There's other users that are on it that have to also be part of this plan. And I think there should be a general discussion with all the users involved and then decide what's the right way
And
to
there
go
has
forward.
been,
Yeah.
so the paramedics need the tap, so at the end of the day, we have to fix the tower. We can't leave it the way it is, it's like, it's a liability and something's going to happen to it. So, we do have $15,000 in building maintenance, which we were going to use to fix up the kitchen, but if we have to put $8,000-9,000 into fixing up the tower, then that's the way it has. I don't know what else to do. That will fix our internet problem. That will fix any of our radio problems. The OPP have antenna on there that are inactive, so those can come off. They're not being used. They're completely inactive.
But it's gonna cause more wind loading with them on.
Yes, exactly. So we can remove them. The roads department has an antenna up there, but it just, all it does is allows us to have a base. We don't have to have a base here. We communicate a lot on the phone and with cell phones now. So we could remove that base and it's not going to affect them because they're all out of point out. Fire is the same. Fire has a base here, but we don't really communicate with fire through the base. We generally communicate with fire through cell phones, and fire communicates through their vehicles, which all again comes out of point out.
So the
So-
base does not feed back to any of
No,
the trucks.
not
or
at all.
All it does is feed this base.
That's
to-
correct.
Would the base here come into play if there's an emergency?
Yes, if there was an emergency, then, and let's say the cell phones all weren't working, there was no email, no cell phones there, but of course, then what would happen is even our phones would go down because we're voice over internet. So, then yes, the base for sure would be handy. The fire department would be able to talk amongst each other. So, and we would have to move our emergency operations center to wherever that base was. If it was in Foymount, if it was at the roads garage on Foymount Road.
Yes.
like,
Well,
You know.
essentially, you could get a radio and then you'd be communicating. with
That's
the
right,
fire
then I'm
engines.
done, then I don't.
If
need
you
this.
have a-
You still have unit-to-unit
Yeah,
communication with the fire department or
Yeah.
any of the two ways,
And
right?
all you have to do is get a two-way and then you're fine.
Yes.
And I believe roads and fire are on different bands, but you can get them on
Yeah.
one walkie.
Okay, so,
You still have to
Oh, yeah,
channel-
absolutely.
still have to channel.
so both our fire and our public works are not concerned about it.
No.
If they were removed, they're not worried about it.
Okay,
OPP is not worried about it because they're not even using it right now.
So it's just the
not active.
paramedics.
So it's just the paramedics. So, I agree with what Mayor Murphy's saying when she says, okay, if we fix the tower, then our internet, which is our biggest concern.
Yep.
Is our internet is fixed for now, and then in the next 2 years, we'll have fiber, and then we don't need the tower anymore.
That's
So, and then at that point, we can have a discussion with the paramedics who want the tower. They'll have to come up with an option. So they've got 2 years of us to say, look, we're gonna fix the tower. It will be there for you for 2 years, and within 2 years, you guys have to find another solution. Now, they did talk about having something mounted to the roof, and Veracom seems to think that's possible. Our consultant does not think that's possible, but because we're not doing that right now, we don't need to debate that,
That's
whether
right.
in 2 years'
Yeah.
time, that's what the paramedics want to
But
try
that-
to do. That's on them as far as
I
I'm
was
concerned.
just gonna say that,
That
that's,
78,000 was for full replacement.
Yes,
Yes.
And then the
correct.
8,000 was for the temporary fix.
Correct.
yeah,
Okay, and that, if we're gonna go forward with this,
Mhm.
when they do that, make sure they pull off all the antennas that aren't being used.
Yes,
Pull them all down,
Yes.
because that'll give you more stability in your tower.
that's right,
Because I was
exactly.
looking at the tower specs and there's different, but
Yeah.
everything is not used, pull it. They
So-
should even pull the cables.
Yes, and that's exactly what that's exactly what the consultant said. He said, look,
You
I'm
pull it.
willing to fix it,
Yeah.
but I'm only willing to fix it if you're going to guarantee me that you're only gonna keep this tower for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Because otherwise,
Well,
and that you're going to take all of the things off of it, just as you said, even the cables
Yeah,
that you're
yeah.
not using.
Because it makes a
because
big difference.
it is compromised.
makes total
You
sense.
know, it is.
And then just ask Fire Roads to order us a walkie for the office.
And then you don't need the base.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay,
Yeah, fair. Fair.
so,
Well, there's really nothing.
I-
no other
I-
choice, to
but-
be
No,
honest.
and if five's coming anyway,
The 8,000 is gonna, if it carries it over till we do get it, then it makes
Rather-
sense. But to be honest, the 3 to 5 megabyte download is still faster than the majority of the
No, I
download.
know.
Faster than my house.
Like, I think the office downtown is 1 megabyte, I think. so.
it doesn't work for our SCADA, for our water plant.
Yeah,
And it also
100%,
doesn't
yeah.
work for Wi-Fi at the
Well,
arena
just
when you
your
get
upload,
multiple
right?
people.
Yeah.
Those are
Multiple
the
users,
two,
yeah.
those are the two that
Yeah.
really
If
Yeah.
we're, yeah,
have an issue.
yeah.
if five is coming through in 2 years, there's no use trying to
I-
fix something for 20.
I'd have James, though, it's not James, whoever's taking
Yeah.
over,
Yeah,
Mitch, have him look, while you're there, have him look at what's the cost and how much you're gonna lose by going to a wider band antenna. So that'll give you
Yeah.
more stability if it does move a little bit.
yeah,
So
okay,
then it's not near as stringent to keep, because I know the whole purpose of moving the narrow band antenna, the more upload speed you're gonna have.
Yeah.
But you can get a little wider band antenna and you won't
Yeah.
sacrifice as much as you think you will.
I can ask them, yeah. for sure.
So,
Yeah.
So then that 8,000, where were you planning on pulling it from then?
Kitchen.
The
kitchen.
building maintenance, we budgeted 15,000 to redo the kitchen this year.
It leaves you 7 to do some stuff.
new coffee machine.
Exactly. So I think I'm not a fan, I'm not a fan of repairing something just for the sake of repairing it, but I think fiscally this is a good decision. When it is going to be obsolete in a couple of years.
It's the same thing. I would be for replacing the tower if it was gonna be forever and ever, but if it's only gonna be for a couple of years, let's make it work.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Boy, you're zooming through these.
zooming.
Oh,
We won't even have
sorry.
a meeting after this, we've gone through it all.
I know.
Oh, so the next thing that I had to report on was the draft planning act delegation bylaw. So, under the More Homes Act that just came out, council must by July 1st delegate the authority to a staff member for site plan approval. So, and that's in order, of course, to speed up the process is what the province is hoping to do. Now, that does not remove council's, council still is the body that the site plan agreement comes to. So if we have issues negotiating the agreement, it can still get stalled, but I know it's never usually council that is stalling the site plan anyway. So I have proposed, and I did a talk to the county, and the county said, yes, they would be willing to take that duty on. I did propose that Bruce be the approval person for site plan control, because we can make it myself or anybody else in any staff member of the municipality. However, we don't have a planner here, and so I wouldn't be comfortable unless Bruce was
No, I get
comfortable.
it.
So why are we waiting for him and I to have a discussion? Why not just let him be the approval person?
That makes
So-
total sense.
That can happen. And then under Bill 13, we can also relieve council if they wish. This part you don't have to do, of removing the holding symbol. So if someone is put into a holding zone, they have certain conditions that they have to meet. Once they meet those conditions, then the holding zone can be lifted. Well, right now, if you meet those conditions, now we have to wait for a council meeting. We bring it back to council and council lifts the holding. If we delegate that authority, then what happens is if they meet those conditions, so let's say it's I don't know, you have to do an environmental study. That's your condition. So right now you're holding, you can't do anything, or you have to do an archaeological study. You can't do anything until that's completed. Well, then once that's completed, now I have to call a council meeting and bring it to council, and council has to remove the holding. But we could delegate that as well to Bruce, because as soon as he receives that study, boom, he lifts the holding. So we don't have to then come back to council again.
Doesn't wait 2 weeks for us or something.
Well-
whatever it might be.
And we've already approved the zoning with the holding symbol.
The thing is,
Okay.
with Bruce doing the holding, he would know the requirements, and he's not going to pass it without
No, because they're specific, like the zoning.
due diligence anyway, so.
Yeah,
Well, it's a checklist anyway, so instead of us
Exactly.
getting meetings, oh, they got this part of it done, so check, it's like.
So we're.
They're making a shorter checklist.
Just hurry up.
yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, and
It'll
like,
actually forge red tape.
Yeah.
let's expedite
Yeah,
some of
if
this.
the
Yeah.
province can't reduce the red tape, we can do it here at this table.
Exactly.
And to be honest, we always get the
Yes.
That's
recommended
right.
report, we review it anyway, so the thing is.
Exactly.
Just
Because
so
we're not
that-
planners.
No,
The
Yeah.
province can look to us for tips, thanks.
Yeah.
And the
Right.
zoning's already come to council at that point. Council's already approved the zoning
Yeah.
and just said, okay, you just need to do this, and then you can proceed with development. So,
Well, we're part of the bureaucracy that we have to remove, to be honest.
Agree.
so that is another proposal, because I figured once we were delegating planning duties, we might as well delegate as many as we can to move things forward. And then the other one is temporary use
So-
bylaws.
So, just one question
Mhm.
I'm always cautious when delegating a bunch of stuff to one
Yes.
individual.
Yes.
So in the event of, I'm not saying Bruce is ever, hey,
Mhm.
but in the event that our delegate
Mhm.
goes a little AWOL, then there will be council oversight for that
Yes,
as well.
so.
Just that clause, because you don't know what can happen in the
Yes.
future, right?
There
So
always is. with
I
zoning.
understand, but when you start, I like chopping red tape, but we just don't want to chop too much,
So-
or,
So part of the bylaw reads,
yes,
if at any point council wants to take back that authority, you just do it.
Okay.
So if Bruce is not doing what council wants him to do, maybe council wants this something to be approved and Bruce is, I don't know when that would happen, but
Yeah.
let's just say. it
No,
did,
I don't either, but
Then council would just take it back.
I like to have a safety net no matter what I do.
Yes, yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and the only other one is the temporary use bylaws, and that's pretty much permitted temporary uses. So if we included that in the new zoning bylaw, where if let's say you're building a house,
With
and
the
while
no
you're
bylaw.
building the house, you're gonna be living in the
Trailer.
old house, while you're building the new house, or a
That's right.
trailer.
Yeah,
whatever
we've just
whatever
went
you're
through
doing, you don't have to then come to council. That's already in our zoning bylaw to say you're allowed to do these temporary uses, and you can get approval from Bruce. You don't have to wait for a meeting and, yeah.
And in today's markets with things going up and down as quick as they are, it's probably better to, If we can safely do so,
Yeah.
I'm all for reducing the
Okay.
amount of input that has. to be.
So if that works, then I would actually bring the bylaw back on the 21st.
Sure.
And it would just be those three things.
Yep.
And one of them, which is the site plan one that the province is saying we shall do, does have to go to county because the official plan has to be amended to allow them to do it. So it won't come into effect until the county approves the official plan amendment, which,
Okay,
because the province is telling us we shall do it,
I think it's
I
in
don't see
May,
that.
but that's
I
okay.
think it's a go.
One thing I've learned
Shall
from
May,
Merv along the way, shall in May.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're interchangeable.
And also a definite maybe.
And the only other two items that I had was the Rogers communication. So just they're looking for that letter from us again to say that
Yep.
we're comfortable with that. We don't have any concerns. And the emergency management group. So Emma Normoyle did agree to be our alternate CEMC. And so I just have to update that resolution so that I can file our profile with Emergency Management Ontario. So that's,
So I read the Rogers letters, like the letters that were submitted to Rogers and then were sent to us. And I love the one where the guy's complaining about it, but then says it could be on my property.
Yeah, we'll give you an outdoor spot.
That was my favorite.
Ding, ding, ding.
And it's not that much money.
I know, but still, it's.
Yeah. Anyway, I just,
that's all I had, Mr. Chair.
well, thank you very much, Annette. That was a great report. Jason. If Carol's not here, I think I'm gonna bring, yeah, we'll bring Jason up. I just almost. Reverse here. I want the sex. Are you ready to come on board here, Jason? Welcome.
Hello, everyone.
Everybody seems to be in good mood today, so.
All this rain.
Oh, yes. Potatoes are growing.
Mhm.
Yes. Okay, gravel tenders. We got 3 tenders in and EI was highest, Ralph Sell was middle, and RJ Kluche was in the lowest. I would recommend the council to accept the gravel tender from RGT Kluche, please.
if memory serves, that's under budget.
Yes.
Excellent. Love it when that happens.
Especially this day and age.
Yeah, exactly.
Winter sand tenders. We only had one applicant for the winter sand tender. So I would recommend council to accept that.
Is that normal or do you normally have a couple, didn't you?
No, lately it's been only,
Only Ralph?
There's only so much access to sand around
and
here
that's,
too,
that's the problem. right?
and in close proximity to where it's required.
Yes,
You could take it out of my yard,
probably all the same vein that runs through that property.
probably.
Okay, number 3, the intersection at Queen and Patrick. I did go and look at the area. We do have a stop ahead sign that is very visible. The stop sign is very visible, but as I looked at, the corner does take a swoop and it does look like the road does go straight ahead. My suggestion is put up a 4x8, 48-inch checkerboard sign. And that will put it in the direct path of when you're coming straight down the road, that if, when you do see it, hopefully that.
It breaks up the sight line. Well,
We can run over the sign.
the thing is, Jason and guys, like we've all seen part of it. I have video of the car coming through the intersection on my phone. The neighbor has front door cameras and it shows it going across, but he's got 5 of those in the last year, he said. So, or close to it. So it's not that it's just a one-off. So I'm usually not in favor of putting signs up because they have to be maintained, right? And it's a permanent cost to the municipality for wherever. But in that situation, if it saves somebody, and it's a good example, when it's repeating itself over and over again, definitely has to be something done, so. I
Exactly.
think we'll give that a go. We do have somewhat video surveillance on that corner that I'm accessible to, so if, in the event, that somebody busts through the checkerboard, well, we'll have to come up with something new, but I think it's a good start anyway, and we'll go from there.
Yes.
Just after seeing, obviously, we all heard the story or the stories, but then after seeing the video, I think this council would kick themselves if we didn't do something and somebody got hurt,
That's right,
right? 'Cause
absolutely.
that car almost took flight over that curb.
Well, Trina was going for a walk and actually witnessed the whole thing at the same time. She was right at the intersection. So had she crossed to the other side, a few
Yes.
seconds sooner, but it wasn't her that brought it up. It was the neighbor that brought it up as far as it goes this time.
Yes.
And other neighbors had
Well,
contributed
we
to it as
discussed
well.
it twice at the council in the last year anyway, so.
So
Put
absolutely.
it up and then.
Well, yeah,
hopefully
like I
it
say,
hopefully it makes a difference. The only other option is just to put a bunch of big boulders there and that doesn't fix it, but I don't know what else will.
we've got lots of access to
We have
those.
lots of rocks.
Yeah.
We do,
It's only, this the
Again,
next step.
so,
come to my yard.
So when can we expect a checkerboard to be in?
We'll get a bell locate.
Yep.
So that'll be probably a week or week and a half.
Oh,
And
okay,
then we'll put it in.
perfect.
Yep.
Good to know.
Augsburg Road. If anybody's been down there, that's
Yes.
coming along very quickly. They're supposed to pulverize today, but because of the weather, they got delayed, so the pulverizing will be tomorrow. Gravel will be Thursday, Friday. And they're planning to be in paving on early next week.
Let's hope they get some nice weather for
I
it.
was gonna say,
No paving going on the highway today.
I don't think we can fault them for the weather.
No,
No, but they're moving along quick.
They're-
I was
they're-
down
they're
there
ahead
on
of schedule.
Sunday, yeah.
they're very eager at it for sure, and they're putting lots of long days on it too,
No,
so.
that's the thing. They're extending their hours as long as they can go.
But that's what a normal construction company does, right? Like I've worked construction and a lot of people have worked construction outside of, when you're working for the private individual, usually it's a day like the American Fair for the summer and wintertime you look for other sources, so you have to go when you can, right?
Correct, yes, yes. We have received our new Komatsu loader. That was delivered last week.
I think I seen it at the Spring Creek Fair there the other day.
So is that the one we've cut the grass with or not?
Yes,
Yeah, we haven't, do we have the header yet? or not?
the head should be here,
Next month.
should be late next month.
So do we have the other tractor to cut now? or what?
Yes.
Yeah, we are cutting.
Yes, yeah, we're at it. We've been at it for the last 2 weeks.
Okay.
Between brush and, or longer, 3 weeks probably.
One thing, and speaking of the brush and stuff, like one thing I've noticed this year, especially with the wet season, like this morning, I'm down about just north of Charlotte Lake where I'm trucking from, but I think I've seen at least 10 deer, on the shoulder of the road this morning. And if we can't, we really got to keep that brush and stuff cut back because of the accidents and everything else, right? So it's, now, do you think it's possible that we'll have 2 guys doing the brushing at once if need be?
Yes,
And that's perfect with the maintenance and stuff going
Yes.
forward this year.
yes, yeah, and it should work out that we can, get both of them running for a bit.
No, and that's crucial to safety in the community for sure. And the thing is with this year, everything is growing so rapidly, it's only a week and you wouldn't know you were there almost, right?
Well,
So-
that's just it. Like a week ago, the grass might have been this high, and now all of a sudden it's, almost 2 feet high.
I almost hit one this morning.
Oh, and that's the thing, it gives people time, right? If you can keep everything trimmed back to the fence line, you're more apt to be able to have reaction time than when it's on top of you or in the long grass and you can't see it till it's on top of your head.
It's also better for road drainage as well.
Yes.
So win-win right across,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I hydroplaned my way in here today on 512.
To let off that accelerator a little bit.
The other's a brake, Jen.
We'll have to put a checkerboard right in front of her windshield.
Put a block underneath the grass. cutter.
Just put it like halfway up.
Yeah.
I always think it's a remote control driving when I'm here.
Yeah, I saw her driving the day. I thought it was just a steering wheel.
Sorry.
Do you see what I put up with?
She keeps her glasses up there so it looks like her eyes are better.
Oh, I forgot they were up there.
Sorry, but Chair, under control. Here.
Yeah, exactly, Mr. Chair.
Okay,
Our hazardous waste depot is now open, just on Saturdays.
Excellent.
All our waste sites are now on summer hours. So our snow dipper site is open 8 till noon, Monday to Thursday, and then Saturday, regular hours. We have hired a new works employee. Started 2 weeks ago.
you didn't bring him in.
I know, I was gonna say, you
I should have, but
can bring him next time.
he was
Sure.
out working.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay, well then,
Don't hold up.
Yeah.
No.
So
Good enough.
he's not a grader guy for us? Does he have grading
He
experience?
has greater experience.
oh, thank goodness.
Good.
Yes. And we had everything pretty much caught up, and now with all the rain, we're ready
Back in the
to
bubble
square
season.
one.
Yeah.
I was gonna say.
You mean the biblical rain that was last Thursday,
Yes.
where we were driving back from Pembroke after the election and had to pull the car over?
Wasn't that raining?
It took me half an hour to get from the Shell station to my house. Willie Menright almost had an overnight guest. I got to the lip of his laneway and I thought, I'm just gonna pull in.
Well, I had some rain next to your windshield.
I have it.
I love rain.
So do I.
I know this is off topic, but just
Oh, that's okay.
We're
we're
driving.
fine.
first time going to Pembroke Thursday night, that we drove between 2 rainbows. From
Oh,
Golden Lake,
really?
from Golden Lake on, we had a rainbow on either side of the highway.
Neat.
And did you look for the gold, Murph?
Well, we're gonna stop and look for the gold, but the brush is a bit high, that's why.
Yes.
But I can't imagine what that deluge did to some of our roads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The guys did a really good job on grading. Everything just went to the edges, and that's where it washed. 90% of the roads washed on the edges, so that's very good, very good.
That's a good test too.
Yes.
It is too.
Absolutely.
Yes. Island Shore, I have contacted 2 survey companies. Quotes are in. I did receive the second one after I wrote the letter. I did contact M&R, and we did talk about what we had to do once the surveying has been done, next steps, and I will have to contact the Ministry of Environment also.
Okay.
So you're gonna establish really where the right of way should be.
Correct.
So you
Although we
want
might lose some front lawn.
Yes,
yes,
and there's gonna be some other objects in the way for sure.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
okay.
Concrete
So you're
driveway.
You'll
Yeah.
bring back a
Yes.
report once you know a
Yes.
little bit better? Okay.
Yes.
So when's the surveying gonna get done? You have any idea, roughly?
Well, their schedules are very tight,
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
because they booked up already till probably September, October, so. It's could be, well, depending on when we decide to do it, to get the survey done. It'll,
Might be better when it's froze so they can stand on the ice.
yeah, exactly. Now,
I'm serious.
but you know what? I thought you were joking, but then I thought,
No, better than the hip waders.
Well, because we don't know
No, you
where
don't
the
know
road
where-
allowance
no.
is, if
Right.
it's underneath the lake, or how far out, or, you know, where it is.
They're gonna
Exactly.
have to
They're gonna have
start
to get
with,
points.
start with some reference point from somewhere.
Yes.
yeah,
It's just, it'd be nice so we could have, well, the new council could have it then for their budgeting for next year,
exactly.
because you're gonna need,
Yes,
you know, because once you know where your survey is, then you know, have a better scope of what the work is.
that's right. And then we'd have to get a hold of the engineering company to
Yeah,
figure out, you know, what can be done and what can't be done.
and then we'll have, I'm sure we'll have, our council will have lots of meetings with the people on.
Well, that's the other
Okay.
issue too, right? Ministry's gonna have, both ministries are gonna be involved, so. What loops we'll have to jump through, I don't know right now.
Yeah, but you're gonna have to do something if you want to fix it properly.
That's
You
right.
You can't do it the way. it
Well,
is.
And I feel like they want it fixed properly, right? They don't want us to patch it or just go over it and not make any changes. So I think as long as we are in contact with them and we're upfront and honest about the process, about the delays in surveys. I know, even trying to sever a property, surveys are taking a long time. I think that as long as we are in contact with them, they will be pleased with whatever we're doing, knowing that it's going to move forward.
That's the end of my report.
Good.
Run.
Oh, I don't know. There's no pressure on him today. There's no sweat or nothing on his arm. I don't know. Yeah. Too easy on your chase today.
Right.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
no, that sounds good.
Right.
I think everything else looks good on my end, so have yourself a good day, Jason.
Perfect. Thank you, everyone.
Is Dave in the queue there, Annette?
Yes.
Jason, say your piece.
Hey, Dave, how are you today?
Good, how about yourself?
We're doing okay.
Good.
Lots of rain. That'll keep the sparks down to a minimum, I hope.
Let's hope so, yeah.
Lots of green too now, right?
Yeah, lots of rain coming this afternoon as well, so it's greened everything up, and I thought for sure, and I don't even think I touched wood the last meeting and said that the spring was greened up because we had a really busy May. A lot of it, we believe, from tossed cigarettes out of cars into ditches. So we had actually seven actual fires last month, all grass and ditch type related. So the undergrowth is still it's green on top, but it's still very dry. It was very dry beneath the new growth. So the fires were. It didn't take long for us to run quite a bit last month. So anyway, hopefully that's over now, and we can move on to a quieter June for sure.
You touched on something there, Dave, with the cigarettes being thrown out. As everybody knows, I do a lot of driving, and I'm going to tell you, when it's dark, the amount of cigarettes and lit embers that I drive over with the tractor trailer and I see the sparks flying out from underneath my vehicle is uncanny, or it's obscene almost. I don't know if there's a message we can get out to people to use your ashtrays in the vehicles, because no, absolutely. Like last month, I was in the bush quite a bit, and just on the property out there, and no, you're absolutely right. It was so dry underneath, that top little layer of green growth.
Mhm.
And yeah, it absolutely, at least once a day, you see somebody throwing a cigarette out, or, when I'm driving there. So
No, absolutely. And we did, Lorna did put out a message on our Facebook page regarding just a reminder to, have a can or something in your vehicle with you if you're smoking while you're driving to keep that from happening. So we got on she got on that message right away once we started getting those types of calls. So anyway, whether it works or not, people do what they do. So it's just one of those things.
That is why when I had Christmas trees and now a red pine plantation, that I cut the grass every year, particularly along the road, because I didn't want a whole bunch of dry grass in the spring. Somebody tosses a cigarette, my tree plantation is gone.
Yeah.
That's true, Murray.
It's so true.
And that goes back to us keeping our ditches mowed too.
Yeah.
And it's all applicable. Right?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm still trying to work with the OFMEM with this learning contract. It's a tough go. They have some shortages of staff there, and literally one person is looking after it. So it's a bit of it's like three weeks later to receive an email, 2 weeks later to get a phone call back type thing. So we have some time, and we're not in a crunch period right now, but we will get this off the ground hopefully sooner than later. And I have at least one other township right now that would like to get on board with us and do kind of a joint spread the workload out and do kind of a joint effort towards this legislation. So that I'm looking forward to that happening. We do have an open house on Saturday, the 18th of June. There was some interest in residents of Floymount, maybe getting out and getting to know the firefighters, and maybe it'll be a recruiting venue for us as well. So our fire prevention officer was up there a few days ago handing out pamphlets and information regarding the department, and also invitations to the open house. So looking forward to going up there that day and meeting the people in Floymount and hopefully getting some applications as well. I've got 3 people right now that I'm.
Eganville as well.
Pardon me?
You should do it in Eganville as well.
Yeah, I've got 3 people out of the Eganville area that I'm going to be interviewing very shortly to hopefully get on board. But we, that is also a good idea as well. Do it at both halls. Maybe we'll test the waters up in Floymount first on the 18th, and then maybe at some point in July we can do something in Eganville.
One thing I'm looking at, Dave, is your count for the firefighters in Plymouth, and the ones with the AZ/DZ licenses. We're only at like 4 out of 12.
Yeah.
Is there any way we can get that bumped up, Dave? Or do
Yeah.
you see?
Well, actually, one of our officers is doing DZ training. He's in the planning stages. He's actually going to roll that out very shortly, and we have quite a few people that are interested in getting on that. We're going to coincide that with pumper ops training as well. So that is something we're going to be doing this summer. And I do have a few people right now that are waiting for their tests, waiting to do their driving tests. They've done the writtens already. So yeah, that's always a challenge, getting people to that point where they're comfortable and willing to take that license and drive the vehicles.
So has it been, I know the A is almost out of the question now, for us at a firefighter level, but with the D, have they been fairly successful in getting in and getting their license on time? Like, it's been a while since I've been in that circuit, so to speak. I just
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Because I know the way the requirements are for the A, it's almost impossible to ask anybody to be a volunteer firefighter and get an A license, but the D is achievable, right? So
D is achievable. I found just from feedback from the people that have taken it, the testing, it is much harder now than it was 10 or 20 years ago. I think the thought early on, like maybe 10 to 15, 20 years ago, they kind of didn't look the other way, but they were a lot easier, knowing that you were taking this for that purpose. They tend to not be like that now. They're pretty tough on the firefighters, which is understandable. You're driving a very large vehicle, very dangerous.
Yeah.
So, but it is more of a challenge now. We also have a little bit more higher tech vehicles than we did that way back then as well. So that plays into the
the only reason why I brought the question up is because we have 2 vehicles in the Plymouth garage that require a D. Is that correct?
No, just one.
One. Okay. Yeah. Oh well, we're not too bad then. That's right.
And our operator, our D operator, it lives right there by the fire hall. And when he's not around, it's we make other arrangements to make sure somebody gets up there and gets to the truck. So
yeah, it's better than I thought. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah. So like I said, a bunch of the stuff I'm kind of in limbo right now. Bunker gear, I know we talked about this before. I'd ordered it before Christmas, and I did talk to our supplier. Apparently 3M, who makes all the reflective and all the NFPA approved decaling and whatnot, they ran out of material. So we're kind of indefinitely on hold right now. And they of course supply all of the manufacturers with all of that kind of material. I think they're the only one that does. They've got kind of a monopoly on it. So that's kind of on hold right now until 3M can replenish their supply. And I did talk to our supplier for extrication tools, the hydraulics, the electronic ones. He's hoping possibly July or August by the sounds of it. His company has $600,000 of the tools sitting in the States, and they're trying to get them to move up to here. It's been a bit of a challenge. So he's hoping, we're hoping July, August type time frame for delivery. So, which is this kind of stuff's frustrating that it's still happening, the delays and obviously the price increases, and it's frustrating.
I don't know, I don't want to take us too far off topic, Dave, but I don't know what the automotive end is with the parts and stuff now, if it's as frustrating as the heavy truck stuff, but stuff that you used to be able to get overnight now is weeks away. So it's just the norm now, like.
Yeah, absolutely. And what it does is I find frustrating for me is that it carries, if you order something expensive like bunker gear and expecting it in a particular budget year, you have to make, the concessions that have to be made if it rolls into the following year, right? So it kind of messes up I know it can be managed, but it's all for budget forecasting and that kind of stuff. It also is a challenge to, to have things that are, you're managing them over 2 years instead of managing them the same year. And it's a bit frustrating, but apart from that, I have nothing else that's really new, just except for the fact that we were busy last month, but with calls and whatnot, but nothing else new for this month.
Well, hopefully Mother Nature gives everybody a little bit of a break now in the next little while, and
Hope so.
any questions for Dave? No. Well, enjoy the rest of your day, Dave.
You too. Thank you.
Thanks, Dave.
Take care.
Bye.
Take care.
Daryl is on, Mr. Chair.
Daryl. Well, welcome.
You know, has his video on, they should be able to hear us. Oh, and we just lost him.
He's probably at the water plant.
Everything is good in the water department.
That's right.
I just did it.
I know. But yeah, you have to shut your shoulders.
Yeah. Oh, I could never take over for Daryl.
Oh, there it is. Back. He's gone again.
We should have had some elevator music playing.
I was thinking of the Jeopardy theme.
Back and then gone. He's
Well.
yeah, he had an appointment,
We can,
so-
Report is
if we're having technical difficulties, we can let you do that while we move on to
All right, I'll
correspondence.
let you know if we get him.
Sure.
Permanently.
I don't have any questions for Daryl on his report.
No.
This
So,
report looked really good.
I know,
So it's just the meter bylaw.
yeah,
Again, can bring that back, June 21st. The meters are not showing up until September. Oh, there's trying again. So it just gives us a few more powers with entering and stuff like that, when we're gonna have to be replacing those.
Yeah.
I mean, we can always just cut you off, but
let's not do that.
let's not do that.
No.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yep,
so
I think it looks good. Anybody have any questions for Daryl?
he is back.
oh, well, we can say hi and then get back to work.
Sure.
Senior report, everything's fine.
If you want to message him and say it's okay.
Yeah,
I think he can hear us.
hence the reason for the repair of the tower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could have backed my truck up maybe and pulled it straight while we had the meeting.
I'll go and do it.
Yeah.
Just have to come along between here and to the base.
That's what you wanted out of Dr. Summers.
No.
He says he can hear us.
Oh, you can hear us, Daryl?
Yes.
Okay,
Oh, good.
So I don't know if you want to just.
Well, so if Daryl, if you can hear us, we've read your report, we're going over it. if there's anything out and beyond
Just shrug your shoulders.
your report, just text Annette, and if not, thank you very much for your report and have a good day.
They said the bylaw was okay, Daryl.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's still texting.
Okay.
I'm a slow texter too. I don't use my thumbs.
I'm
I'm a hunt and peck type of texter. So if you're ever texting me and it takes me 15 minutes to reply, it's because I'm trying to create the sentence.
While driving the truck.
Oh, no, never. That would be illegal, Murph.
Merv.
Not, how's the head on it?
Who would do something like that? Okay, of course.
Can you please tell them about the tower, which is moved to September? So yes, I will, Daryl. So the mixer in the
Yeah.
water tower
Yeah.
was going to be replaced in June, but in order to, Daryl and I had a conversation, in order to replace the mixer, they have to drain the water tower.
That's right.
Which also brings water to the splash pad. So do we shut
Oh.
the splash pad down for a few weeks in June, July, or August? So we had that conversation and it was able to be moved to September so that we don't have to shut down the splash pad.
If it can comfortably be done in September without hindering any type of
Yeah.
anything at all, or getting in the way, if Darrell says it can wait till September, I'm not worried about waiting till September.
It's done before
So
freeze up.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, freeze up is always a
Yeah.
concern, but I think September is
Yeah.
still.
as long
I
as
think
it's- as long as it's done before
So-
freeze up.
Even if the nice weather continues, the splash pad may be shut down after a long weekend. in
I think the
September.
long weekend of September will get the
Yes.
garden hose out.
I think it's better than
Yeah.
June, July, or August.
That's right.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, okay.
they agree, Daryl.
I do.
I like you, and that's just shouting things into the air, hoping
Oh.
y'all can hear. but-
We're
He
good.
can,
We're
he can
good.
hear you.
Oh.
He's got 3 bubbles again.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
thanks very much, Darrell. That was a great report. We'll see you next month, I guess. Okay. On to correspondence.
The recreation, thank you, note was very nice, but I like the note about the time. That was
Yeah.
very interesting.
Yeah,
So-
that was really neat.
And that you were trying to jump in there?
Sorry about that. So the mixer, I guess, is good. It's the paint. It's the paint that has to be done in September that it has to be drained for.
Yeah.
So it's the paint, which has to do with the replacement of the mixer,
Oh, they're
Okay.
just doing it.
but just,
simultaneously.
yes, yeah, it's just. And thanks, he says.
No problem.
He's gone
Oh,
now.
No more bubbles.
No
no,
more bubbles.
no more bubbles.
No more bubbles. No, he's not on Zoom anymore, so he can't hear us anymore unless he's on YouTube. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Sorry about that.
Hey, no problem. We're easy today.
We're easy breezy.
Okay, Jennifer, back to you.
I thought it was really nice that we got a thank you note about recreation and the,
It's always good to get
The-
thank you notes.
right, but I
Absolutely.
really like the note about the time. That we're the only place
I
that
don't see what
he's,
that stuff looks like.
I don't either, but I'm gonna look it up.
Like up towards like the shell where you have the like Catholic cemetery, it's the purple. That's, like in
And
the
it's-
spring and summer, it's just the purple vine that goes through, and then like Ben Kelly up on his hill there.
Yes.
That's all the vine there as well.
Oh, is that what
So
that
it's- Yeah,
is?
it's the purple material, like, around Fairfields, you get it, the Catholic cemeteries all
It
over.
spreads pretty heavy.
I did
Yeah,
not,
it spreads, I've only received ever one complaint about it.
I
but
have
it's soft.
always wondered what was on Ben and Shannon's lawn.
Yeah, it's a thyme,
That's very interesting. Cool.
but it's because the roadway here, all the neighborhoods pretty much past country style all have it, right?
Okay.
And
It looks nice,
Does it ever?
and it's soft, so.
almost like astroturf without the
It's
astroturf.
after the turf without the turf burn.
Brent takes his shoes and socks off and goes frolicking.
Katie bought me sandals, so I don't do that.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
It's that kind of day.
It is that kind of thing.
And then we had the request for Royal Canadian Legion as well.
Yes, and I meant that request was sent to me and I meant to do it when Jason got here, but I wasn't quick enough to
Oh,
look
yes,
down.
yes, we should have asked Jason.
Yes,
Is Jason available via,
So, I think they went ahead, because they had their sweeper booked in to go ahead and do it.
They went
Oh,
ahead
So,
with it.
but council has to waive the fee,
Oh, that's
So-
fine.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yes.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well, we do it, I mean, we do it every year, and they were so thankful during COVID when they could have their dinners
That's right,
outside.
yeah.
And, yeah,
It makes total sense.
Well, it might have actually been done before election night because the parking lot did look pretty clean, but I think.
well, when they had the equipment out and they
Yeah.
were doing it didn't make sense to put it away and come back.
No,
So we
No,
did
everything looked
advise
good.
them that we would go ahead and do it, but the fee would have to be approved through
Yeah.
council.
no,
And so that's what we did.
as it were.
exactly.
Make it so in it.
There,
That's right.
Taken care of.
perfect.
Thank you, Chair.
No problem. That's what we're here for. So correspondence B, I think we already did one of those. Hey, Brent?
What's that?
We're on it now. Hey, wherever, it doesn't matter. Frantic order, we'll call
Well,
At least he wasn't quoting Romans. numerals.
it. Yeah, happens. I know where the 10 is. I know where the 1 is. We're good.
the other thing, it's under new and unfinished, but it was a written request, an emailed request about the Truth and Reconciliation.
Okay,
Garden.
number 14, I can read
Yes.
that one.
There you go. So the request was, would we pay for the soil for the Truth and Reconciliation Garden? They're looking for about $500. And they will do the flowers. They'll do all the digging and all of the heavy
And get
lifting
rid of flower pots.
and get rid of flower pots, which is the most important thing now. And we do have a little bit of money in our line item in the budget.
Well, and yeah, it's kind of it's our benefit too, for the beautification of
I
the town.
agree.
They're just looking for just a truck, like a truckload of soil.
Time
to have some soil.
Just a ton.
That's right.
It's our land, like it's our.
Exactly.
If it's a town or topsoil, they get plants and
Are
stuff.
they gonna throw some in the garden beside it as well, or?
The,
that's the
the
game plan?
Horticultural Society does the pollinator garden, and I think that, yes, they're gonna do everything sort of at once
Mhm.
and put up a sign saying, this is the pollinator garden and this is what it does, and this is the Truth and Reconciliation Garden.
So with that being said, so can we get them in touch with Kevin for like I know, I think our planter boxes and stuff are outsourced, but in the event we need, if they're getting a big load of topsoil, because I know, I'm sure you can get a pretty good load of topsoil for $500. That if it's needed throughout the municipality.
And I think she was saying like maximum 500.
No, and that's what I mean, like, I don't know, I haven't bought topsoil in a while, but as long as it's good soil, or whether it be, a bunch of bags or whatever it may be, that if they're going to that extent, or if they do get a truckload, that
Right.
leftovers should be divided up amongst wherever we need them in the rest of like parks or whatever it may be.
Get a
Well, I was
good
gonna
idea.
say, if there's any left over, you just toss it to the rain from the dog park on the other side anyway.
Well, absolutely,
Better.
So do you mind getting in touch with
Get a load
Sherry?
of screen
And
topsoil, not something
that'd be
that
great.
blows off.
Thank you, Annette.
no, it has to be screened topsoil and good stuff for the.
Well, there's local, it's easy. to find. Just
Absolutely,
get a
yeah.
load dropped off, keep it simple,
Yeah.
just bucket it, drop it, boom, done.
Okay, done. Thank you, council. I appreciate it.
Okay, so, anything else on correspondence B? We said that was good. Doing unfinished business, we're gonna go to the mayor's report, and I think you've got, jeepers, 4.5 minutes.
I'll be quick. So this last month I did 19 meetings and 3 events. It was a really nice month. As I previously told you guys, I was elected to the Eastern Ontario Leadership Council. So I'm excited about getting that started. I will put it out there that the volunteers and the museum is in need of volunteers. And Jack Rosine actually ran an ad in the Eganville Leaders. So if you run into people that are the natural volunteers, maybe just give them a little nudge. I went to the survivors event, victims of abuse event in Centennial Park. And of course, we went to Brooker Cider. Thank you to Tim and Trina for alerting us to that. That was a fun afternoon. Brendan, I'm sorry that you didn't join, that you couldn't join us, but I think that we could probably go again as a team building exercise.
Yeah, and before it's all gone, because it's one of those things, like,
Yes.
so I forgive me, I'm a cider, not so much information of, other than I knew, like the growers and stuff like that. I didn't realize it was the vintage and the quality and
I
it's
know,
very unique because every year is going to be different and it's very small batches. And I didn't realize it was, like I say, as unique as it is.
it's a limited edition.
Absolutely. And when it's
Yes.
gone, it's gone. It's like the Cadbury cream
It's
mix,
like a
right?
reserve, right?
Yeah,
No,
it is.
no, like all the bottles are dated, and that stuff was 2 years old and of
And it
course,
was-
it's never
it
gonna
was
be
so
replaced,
good.
right? So
Yeah,
and for the size of the farm, they can't have massive
No.
batches like there would be on an industrial scale. So I strongly urge anyone to go out if they have to before it is gone for this
Well,
year.
I can't believe that they were so busy that weekend that they actually ran out of stuff. So that's a good problem to have.
That's a good problem.
What was the name of the stuff there that you said they run out of there?
Charcuterie.
That's the stuff there.
Tim learned a new word.
I learned a new word.
Last Wednesday, yeah.
Did you know what charcuterie was, Brent? Oh, you did, eh? Okay. I guess I've been in my
My friend's
truck.
trying to look at his face like, how do you not know what that is?
I call it cheese and crackers.
Yes,
I call
Yeah.
it cheese and crackers or snacks.
To be
snacks.
honest,
Yeah,
the only
we're-
reason I know is because Katie makes it for the kids, like for the last 2 years.
But does she call it charcuterie at
Yeah,
the time
she
she's
does.
serving them?
Yeah.
Oh
No,
my
it's just you
God.
buying this, like, you can buy in the store.
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. All
But
right,
to be honest, I didn't.
I've been under a big rock.
you guys have taken up my minute and 40 seconds.
Well, you have about 2 more minutes.
Okay,
Oh,
so,
yeah,
um,
plenty of time.
Recess.
at county council, we had 2 delegations, and what I've done, under new and unfinished, number 2 and number 3, in your package are the slide decks from those delegations. Both are very, very interesting. If you want to go back and look through them. I said very publicly, I am so pleased that the Ottawa Valley Ontario Health Team, which was previously Network 24, one of their priorities is mental health and addiction. So it reverts right back to our grassroots movement here. And I know that Annette has it on her docket to re-engage with the province in the next couple of weeks about some funding, but also if we are able, we are going to do another delegation at AMO because this problem is not going away.
While you're discussing the Brentwood County Health Unit, the Brentwood County VTAC is an absolutely amazing service.
Yes,
I used it last month. So here I am, so I had a severe sinus infection. And I'm like, do I go sit in the hospital, right, for 6 hours or whatever it may be, waiting on a doctor? I picked up the phone, I called, they said, we will have the doctor call you at this time. It was so convenient. She asked me what my symptoms were. I told her over the phone, the prescription was done that minute, and fantastic.
I have-
There, I didn't have to physically drive, and especially today with the price of gas, right? Or take up someone's emergency in the emergency room.
absolutely.
It's so practical, so straightforward, so awesome. If we can do anything as a municipality to reinforce that, that's
I am
amazing.
so thrilled to hear, I'm sorry that you had a sinus
No,
infection.
no.
But we are lobbying at the county level so hard to keep those VTAC monies coming from the province as a fully funded paramedicine, community paramedicine. But that is fantastic news. And when you look at the slide deck, they
Yeah.
actually refer to RC VTAC and the importance of keeping that because we have so many people without primary physicians.
Well, the VTAC though goes in line with like the Ontario Health Teams, like their 2 statements in the first year anyways,
That's right.
which is keeping people in their homes longer, and then secondary mental health. Like I see the VTAC in my community I see them throughout our community, my street, everywhere, all the time. And it's just nice, like there's a lot of elderly people in our community, and I think a lot of people.
Oh, I think you're referring to our community paramedicine.
Oh, that's probably one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
sorry.
VTAC,
No.
but
Listen,
so-
that's a great example as well, Brent, because what our paramedic service has done is they've expanded from the core of 911 call comes in and they go out.
Well,
Then
it's preventing a lot.
it's absolutely preventative. It has reduced 911 calls by, I don't even know what the percentages are at this time. It was astronomical when they first started. But it's also reducing ER visits for things like, I have an earache.
And that's what I was getting to. And, you know, there was, when we first started discussing it, because it's fairly new to the community,
Yes.
right? And I think we should try and get that out there.
It was born out of COVID.
It absolutely was. You know, at the time we were discussing, and we've talked about VTAC numerous times, and I see little signs up through the community. They have them on hydro poles here and there. Little side roads like going, you know, towards Mattawatch and county roads and stuff. You'll see the little sign, RC VTAC, and I get a lot of time to think when I'm driving, and I'm like, what would you need to do that for? And then when the opportunity, and it's a no-brainer,
I know.
because here you are, like I say, you're not taking up emergency space. You're not sitting in there with maybe someone else that is contagious with anything, right? It's a intimate visit with you and your doctor on the phone, and that's as far as it has to go. It's absolutely wonderful. No, I applaud it, and I really hope that we can keep that going.
So the county of Renfrew has asked for a delegation with whomever the new Minister of Health will be. We all know Christine Elliott didn't run again, so I'm not exactly sure who that cabinet minister will be, but the county of Renfrew has asked once again for another delegation, knowing that the premier is also behind this initiative. So it's a win-win for our healthcare system. Our 911, it's a win for everybody, and it's certainly a win for the residents of the county of Renfrew, because we know how many orphaned patients we have.
Well, and that's the thing, like I do have a family doctor, but it was a Saturday morning,
Right.
you know, so you're not gonna get in, and it just kept progressing worse and worse and worse. And like, what do? Do I go sit in a waiting room and, like I say, take up someone else's maybe more valuable? I know triage, they assess, and if something major comes in, but still, I would much
But then are you
rather.
sitting, as you just said, are you sitting in the waiting room for 4 to 6 hours because you're not emergent?
That's right.
And if you're not emergent, why are you sitting in the emergency
That's
room?
exactly right.
Absolutely.
No, it's a very good
that
thing,
is
and like I say,
fantastic.
anything we can do as a council, I will totally, because it was a wonderful experience. Like I don't like doctors, I don't like the hospitals or anything like that. I was able to do it on my cell phone, you know, sitting on my picnic table. It was good, so
That's fantastic.
absolutely.
Great. And so guys, EACDG, the supplies are coming in for the fishing dock. That's moving ahead. They needed these brackets, and they're trying to shop local for everything. They found 8 brackets, but they needed 10. And, you know, with supply chains, which we've talked about over and over and over again, dinner in the park is a go. Dana's got some tickets here for us. If you want to, you have to e-transfer or give cash. And I'm really, really, really excited. The paving will be done at McCray Park to make the washroom AODA compliant. And we'll basically give an area to paint some parking lines. I will tell you that this initiative is being split between the committee, and Dave Kruger is actually donating half the funds. So I think it is amazing.
It is.
You know, because at this time it is not compliant, and we never want that ever. So yeah, I'm thrilled. And just for fun, last Thursday, I was on a panel with Reeve Peter Emo, Mayor Mike Donahue, and Mayor Mike LeMay at Cogeco doing the election coverage. We were political pundits. It was a riot. Not so much driving home in that storm, but an excellent experience. You know, it's stuff, we talk about this all the time, right? Over the last 2 years, there's been no fun stuff. So it's so exciting to.
But you know what's kind of funny about that? No wonder it rained so much, because the tears from the names of the people that I know were with you would have probably been flowing with only 8 of their chums getting in the next. But I didn't say that out loud.
No. Or on
No.
YouTube. And
Even
Mr.
one there.
That's all. You guys are so bad.
No wonder it rains so
Yeah.
hard, eh? Hey, Murph, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
I think you whispered it.
I think I whispered.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was very
It was
on the
in your
down low.
brain.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so, and that's my report unless somebody has any questions. It was a busy but great month and so nice to start getting out to things.
Absolutely.
I even went to a wedding on Saturday.
There you go.
Okay.
It's great.
Any questions for Mayor? No. Okay. Eorn.
Oh, no, those were the two.
Oh, yeah.
The number two and number three are the
How did I
slide decks.
just tune you out and stare right at you the whole time? I don't know how I did. That was a joke for anybody watching. No disrespect for the mayor in any way, shape or form. We gotta keep the communication.
If the mayor is still laughing, it's all good.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. No, I'm just trying to look for our stuff because I should have stroked these off. I even have my pen. Like, pick up my quip.
You're
Dave.
swallowed up.
I think we're pretty well.
Done.
We're pretty
Oh,
well.
It's because the
yeah.
mayor's report got extended
Just
into
a
the
curling
non-finished
club.
The current club, I was just looking at that.
That's really exciting. That's really like.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah, so it came, we had two bids submitted and the one that's being recommended is well within budget, so that's gonna be, I agree, very exciting to finally.
Yes.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's been ongoing for a couple of years
Yeah, I
now,
was
so to
gonna say at least
actually
two.
move forward with that will be,
Yeah.
great.
And again, making it compliant,
Yes,
right?
Yeah.
I think it's fantastic.
Just something came to mind, we were talking about survey in Wild and Shore. Did we ever get any results or survey from this end where the dock is? Didn't we hire a surveyor to tell us where our property was and where it wasn't?
Oh, that was in closed session.
Okay, sorry.
It's okay.
Okay.
The only question I had for the repair time for the tower,
Mhm.
what's the schedule like on it? So if we have to go ahead for repairing the tower?
Yeah, they
Like how-
should be able to get it done. I did, when originally this was coming forward, he had booked us in for, to have it done by June, but then we postponed
Yeah,
that, so
right.
I'll have to book him back in, but I'm hoping he still has some time available. for us in
Okay,
June
yeah,
to
that's
get
the
it
only
done.
question. I just waited till
Yeah.
that part, and finished.
Yeah, and of course now we'll have to contact, because we're repairing it, not changing it.
Yeah.
I'll have to contact, I think it was Pembroke Hydro that came out. They had the truck, they were able to realign it for us. And usually they're about 2 weeks when you call them. So that my guess would be, I'm hoping in the month of June.
So are they gonna actually remove one of the sections?
No, they're going to straighten it with their
Reinforce it?
reinforce it. Yes, that's my understanding. Yeah.
So I'm going to establish our next meeting date, which will be June the 21st. At 3:00 PM sharp.
June 21st council.
Media session, and I see since our friend Jack was, doing his thing, Debbie hasn't been back since, so Debbie, we miss you.
Maybe
Hey,
she's sick.
she's off right now. I don't see no lights on the hoodie. Are we off the air?
Oh, yeah, she is gone there.
Oh, there.
They could still hear us, but,
Okay.
yeah, I must have clicked on
Well,
that, sorry.
we're going into
Something
closed.
happened.
anyway.
No, that's fine. No, I just noticed that,
Yeah. Oh, I can't
It
see
only
the
happened
lights.
a second ago. It happened when Annette was talking and then it happened when Tim started to talk.
oh,
Maybe it
I
doesn't
didn't want to
like
listen to me
them.
either.
And then-
Yes,
Just
maybe,
saying.
maybe the owl's related to my wife. Right? Yes. We don't know. Anyway, so no media session. We're going to go in.
We have 5.
I'm gonna do a
before we
break before we
Yeah.
call the closed session. Okay, Mayor? Back in 5.
Back in 5.
Back in 5. I need another drink of water.
We have.
We're here for you today.
So we have to go
Absolutely.
into close.
There you go.
Okay, thank you very much, Annette. I'm here to report that the committee proceeded into closed session in accordance with the Municipal Act 2001, Section 239.2, to deal with the matters as indicated below. Personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, a position, plan, procedure, criteria, or instruction to be applied to any negotiations carried on or to be carried on by or on behalf of the municipality or local board.
Sure, I'll move that.
And you have the resolutions behind that.
Yep.
Okay.
And is there any declaration of pecuniary interest? Oh, wait till we go in.
And we have to
Yes,
go into
are we
closed
in? Did we vote?
Oh, all in favor?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay.
Everybody's good.
There was one moment, Mr. Chair. And I'll go back to where I thought Chair?
I hereby. Okay, who's gonna move, get out of closed? Murph?
Radical.
Hereby say that the committee moves out of closed session to rise and report that they met to receive information and give staff direction regarding animal shelter options, Canada Day events, and to approve minutes from May 3rd, 2022. All in favor? Okay. Good. I get someone to adjourn the meeting. Brent? In favor?
Yes, please.
We are adjourned.
Excellent.